Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, where I'm also called @Movies TV Mad, and TikTok and Instagram @Movies TV Mad 555. I love James Gunn in a non-worrying, non-offensive way. I think the man's a showman. I think he makes great movies, and he's obsessed with pleasing the audience and entertaining us and making a show for us. And I love him about that. I love the fact that he talks to fans on social media and things like that. But his statement about Superman and the DCEU has confused the issue. Now let's reread what he said. Bloodsport is in prison for putting Superman into the ICU with a kryptonite bullet. Yes, the Suicide Squad is part of the DCEU. Yes, but I don't know which Superman it was because I don't cast the next Superman. So it could be Henry, it could be somebody else. It's whoever people decide on other than me. Wow, that's a statement, isn't it? Why would you make that statement, James? I'm just wondering. We have to go back and reread this. I'm sorry, we have to. Bloodsport is in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet. Yes, the Suicide Squad is part of the DCEU, but I don't know which Superman it was because I don't cast the next Superman. It could be Henry. It could be somebody else. It's whoever people decide on, other than me. So this is interesting, right? Let's think about this. This pretty much opens up the variables here. Now, first of all, right, when would we think the Suicide Squad is set, right? Let's just think about it. I'm thinking about, this is a question to you, right? I pretty much know where it's set, but where do we think it's set, right? It's set in the present day DCEU, okay? So it has to be, okay? So that means that Bloodsport would have to have shot Superman in the DCEU's past. So Superman arrived in 2013. This is in the DCEU. Earth 1. He's just confirmed it, right? So this would have had to have been from some point from Man of Steel to before the Suicide Squad. So when could it have been? It could have been pre-BVS. It could have been between... It can't be anything... I nearly forgot about that. Superman dies at the end of BVS. So it can't be during the Suicide Squad movie, the first one. It can't be after Wonder Woman. It can't be after... Basically, it can't be before Justice League. It can be after Justice League, which is what they're using as canon, right? It can be during Birds of Prey, Aquaman, all of those films, right? So, it could be any time. So, I don't really understand what he's talking about here. How can it be any other Superman but the man who was playing Superman at that time? How can it, James? How can it be another Superman? This simply doesn't make sense, right? And I'll have to tag him again to talk about this because I want a conversation with him about this. Because it is very interesting, isn't it, everyone? Right? How can any other Superman been shot by Bloodsport with a kryptonite bullet that put him in an ICU when it must be pre the Suicide Squad? So it can be, as I've said, after Man of Steel, just before BVS, maybe off-screen during BVS, but that's kind of impossible, right? It can't happen between BVS and Suicide Squad, right? Or Wonder Woman, or before Justice League. So it has to be anything after Justice League, right? So it could be between the movies after that, right? Aquaman, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84, Shazam. But don't forget, we saw him in Shazam. I know it wasn't Henry, but it's Henry's Superman, right? So that's where this falls down, and it's a weird statement, right? Because the statement is a farce. The statement is false. He obviously said it on purpose to cause confusion, right? But there's no way that it can be anyone else but Henry Cavill. Come at me with loads of arguments against what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, it can't be anyone else. Right. So have we got that? The director who's saying this nonsensical statement, he's already said this is in the DCEU. Right? The DCEU is Earth 1, my friends. So it's Henry Cavill. It has to be, right? Unless we go down the rabbit hole and say, okay, wait a minute. Maybe after Superman died in BVS, some interdimensional tear happened and another version of Superman came in, right? And he shot him. Or maybe Bloodsport shot Superman on another Earth. Plausible, I suppose. It is DC. That's the only way. But why would you want to mess around with the fact that Henry Cavill was Superman at least before James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, right? He opens his shirt at the end of Justice League. He's still Superman. So it would have to be Superman. Are we all in agreement now? Smash the like button if you agree with me. It has to be Henry Cavill. Okay. So why is he saying this when I'm sorry, James, I love you, man. I adore you. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to go on set with you. You seem like a riot. But I don't understand what you're saying because it doesn't make any sense, right? Unless the studio have told you to say this, it's coded to say that Henry's being recast. Which is plausible, of course. We know the situation. But it wouldn't make any sense that Bloodsport is in prison for shooting Superman pre-Suicide Squad, right? Because, okay, he's in prison, but he must be in prison for a few years pre this movie, off screen. So it doesn't make sense. It's interesting. It really is. I'm fascinated. So, what's the explanation? If I'm right, and what James has said is nonsensical and makes it doesn't make any kind of logical sense, which it doesn't to any sane person, what is going on here? He is lying, basically, in a fun way. He's messing with us, which could possibly mean that Henry Cavill is Superman, that he's got multiple cameos in the next 6 upcoming movies, 5 or 6 movies, right? Now, let me take one away, right? Because we've got James's Suicide Squad, we've got the Batman, we've got Black Adam, we've got Aquaman, and there's another one, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. We've got 5 upcoming movies, right? So take one off because the Batman is set on Earth 2, an Earth where Matt Reeves will develop his own characters in his own world. Fair enough. And surely that world will kind of mix in with Earth 1 eventually when Flashpoint happens, okay? They're rebooting the universe. Barry's going to tear a hole in reality itself, which means the multiverse, people can cross the multiverse, right? That's fun. That's great. So, he must be saying this because he's trying to divert our attention from any possibility of Henry cameoing in this movie, which I think there's a possibility. Now, again, I could be wrong. I don't know any facts here. But his statement makes no sense. Of course, we've been in this situation since after Justice League. We have not known if Henry has a future within the DCEU as Superman. Now, a couple of years ago, he said the cape is still in the closet. Then he did a big interview with Health Magazine and said, you know, I can't talk about it, but things are going to happen, right? He seemed really, really sure. And don't forget, Walter Hamada's been DC Films president since 2018. And Walter's been developing the worlds of DC, this multiverse strategy, the Hamadaverse, for a very, very long time. So I still think that Henry Cavill could cameo in the Suicide Squad and all the other movies instead of the Batman. But if he doesn't cameo in these 5 movies, we can take it as read that he's not involved anymore. Obviously, it would just be easier if the studio just told us. But if they're not telling us because they're giving us surprise cameos, then thank you. This will shut up all the agenda narrators, right? And this would be beautiful, right? And it would make a lot of us happy because he's a very, very popular Superman. I think he's still Superman in the DCEU. But what do you think? Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. Smash that little notification bell so you never miss what this perfection ever does and says at Movies TV Mad Twitter. TikTok and Instagram at Movies TV Mag 555, and I will see you later.